Hey, thank you very much, sports fans. We're live today from Wakefield, Mass. The PB&Z Sports Chaos Show, fueled today by our friends from Beast Coast IPA up in Portland, Maine. Thank you guys. You have a great brew. So anyways, today we've got an action-packed agenda for you to talk about, folks. We got a few good topics. Obviously, we're going to recap the Patriots season and the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about what's coming up for the Pats, their needs, QB and tight end, right? Maybe Gronk retires, maybe he doesn't. Next, Machado and Hopper, they're still not signed yet. Can you believe this? I don't believe this. It's unbelievable. The Red Sox, can they repeat? They got to sign Kimbrel, don't you think? We'll talk about that as well. A little college hockey. We'll talk about that. A little known fact about BC and BU you'll be amazed by. NBA. So a quick little thing about NBA, because it is All-Star Weekend. Anthony Davis did not get traded. Good news for the Celtics. Next, the NFL, the draft. Kyler Murray. I'm an Oklahoma fan. I love it. All right. Followed by that, we'll talk a little about this new football league, the AAF. More to talk about momentarily. And we'll follow it up with the NHL. Bergie played his 1,000th game for the Bruins. Very nostalgic. All right, PB, Pats.
Yeah, so another Super Bowl. Got 6 now.
Unbelievable.
What's going to happen next year? What's going to happen next year?
Do we have to get a quarterback?
Well, Brady. I do believe Brady's going to play for another couple, 3 years. He'll be starting next year when he's 42, right? So at some point, if you want to have someone under Brady's tutelage for a year or two, yes, we need to think about a quarterback. Maybe not in this draft, but certainly the next one. Personally, for me, I'd rather go 3 out and try to get Lawrence from Clemson when he's eligible. But we can take a look at this year's class. And
So,
see.
you heard it first. You heard it first. Paul wants us to tank and get Lawrence in 3 years from now.
I'd rather trade up to get him, but yes.
Okay, all right. So, what about some of the prospects this year coming out? There are some candidates that have some intrigue. Don't you agree?
There are. I'm not sure that some of the top ones will be around when the Pats are picking at 32. I don't think this is the year to trade up to get a quarterback.
I would agree.
So
Let Haskins and Murray go to the teams that want him.
Haskins and Murray will probably go in the top half of the draft in the first round.
Right.
And then after that, it could be a crapshoot. There's a couple of guys out there that I think could fit the Patriots mold, but we'll have to see where they go.
So I'll give you 4 candidates. Daniel Jones, Duke, 6'5", quarterback, has a cannon of an arm, smart kid, obviously, goes to Duke, right?
Yep.
Go ahead.
He should be around. He should be around at 32, I'm thinking.
Drew Lock, also another kid with a cannon of an arm,
Yeah.
right? Very athletic kid. I will say this about Drew Lock. Here's a rumor I heard about him. He is very similar to Jay Cutler and Eli Manning.
Personality-wise, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Can he lead a team? Does he fit the Patriots?
Does he replace a Brady?
I don't think so.
All right,
I
there
don't
you
think
go. So, 2 other candidates. Ryan Finley, North Carolina State, another big, strong arm kid with a cannon of an arm, right?
Yep. I know you've been less than impressed by him in the games you've seen.
Yes, as a BC season ticket holder, I have seen him play a couple times. I am not impressed. You are correct. Absolutely. The guy that stands out, though, for me, is this kid out of Northwestern, Clayton Thorson, 6'4", 227. Who's that remind you of, PB?
TB?
That's right, TB. Correct. 6'4", 220. Played for
Big Ten school.
Michigan. Correct. Right. Also an academic kid, right? Northwestern is a academic school. A bright kid, which means Belichick will like him because he likes the smart kids, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Clayton is a name to think about, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe 4th round, 5th round, if you can get him there. What do you think?
Maybe 6, 199 overall.
199! There it is again! Can you believe it? All right! Hey, so the other big position that we have to worry about is tight end.
Yep.
Gronk is potentially leaving, potentially not. Who knows, right? You and I both would like to see him stay. We both believe he will.
I think he's going to hang in there for another year. If Brady's there and he's competitive, I mean, his health, he's going to look at it and balance his health. Obviously, he wants to live a, healthy life, and he's not going to ruin that through football. But you never know. This back stuff can come back and bite you. I think he could It's still a very strong possibility he could retire, but I would think that him coming back would not be a huge surprise.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. So I'm going to throw a couple names out to you real quick. T.J. Hawkinson and Noah Fant. They're both from Iowa. Iowa's known as kind of a tight end school. They're all both the same size, 6'5", 250. Some potential. Have you heard about T.J. at all? A lot of people are talking about him lately.
Yeah, I haven't really. I'm not going to say that I
Okay.
really followed the tight ends this year in college.
So the other kid with intrigue is Irv Smith. Irv plays for that clown down in Alabama. Oh, I'm sorry. He's the greatest coach in college football. Yeah. But here's what I say about Irv. He has all the skill and potential of another SEC tight end that we drafted here about 5 or 6 years ago. Is now doing some time someplace else, right? So
He's dead, but yeah.
that's correct. No, he's dead. You're right. Ta-da! You're right. Yeah, he's doing time upstairs or downstairs, probably. I guess. So, but the guy I'm a little bit interested in, Paul, believe it or not, from a non-football factory, Kentucky, which is known as a
Basketball school.
C.J. Conrad, 6'4", 250, a solid kid, great hands, not overwhelming speed, but unbelievable hands. He could block well. I think he's a good fit for the Pats. Watch for him there. What do you think about this?
I think that there's a chance that they will look for a tight end in second, third round maybe this year. So if someone like that's around, we'll see.
Okay. All right, moving on. Major League Baseball. Machado Harper, not signed.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that they're still out there and, the kind of contracts that they're not turning down and the amount of money they're playing baseball players this year that are quote-unquote average. Not saying that they're average players, but you look statistically at Harper in the last few years of his career where his batting average is under 250, hasn't knocked in 100 runs in his career until last year for the first time.
That's an interesting point. I did not know that. Wow.
I just can't see these guys getting, $100 million contract, 5 years, 20, 25, something like that, I think is realistic. But, this is just getting out of hand.
Where do you think either one of them end up? If you were to make a prediction today.
I'd say Harper lands in San Francisco, and I'm going to say Machado will land with the Yankees.
Whoa! San Fran and the Dodgers, who cleared space to bring him there, right? So they got rid of Yasiel. They got rid of Matt, I forget his last name, the center fielder that was an MVP candidate a couple years back.
Okay.
Yes, that's right. They're both gone. They went to Cincy, God forbid. And now they have all this room and space, but you don't see him landing there, huh? They need an outfielder.
They have the money. They have a lot of big contracts there, but they do have a lot of money to spend. Or they have money. It's L.A.
Yes, they do.
So we'll see. I think, personally for me, I would like to see one of them land in Philadelphia. I think the Phillies could really use a guy like that, and I think that could make a difference for them making the World Series this year.
By the way, PV is a Red Sox fan, but he's also a quasi-Philly fan because he gets season tickets down there all the time. It's just anyways, so Machado, Yankees.
I'd have to say Yankees odds-on favorite right now to pick him up. You could see him in.
Does he spike PD again?
I don't know if they play 18 times a year.
There's a good chance, right?
Yeah.
Man. All right, moving on. Next, we're going to talk a little bit college hockey. But first of all, PB, a little college hockey trivia for us about BC and BU.
Yeah, I was doing a little research, and BC and BU have made the NCAA tournament, one or the other, for the last 31 years.
31 years.
It's been 1988 the last time one of those two teams was not in the tournament.
College hockey does not get enough visibility here in Boston for as good as we have for college hockey. Don't you agree?
Yeah, we're the SEC of college hockey, really.
SEC of college hockey. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, and we really are. And going and watch some of these games and going to a small venue like Merrimack, like we did last year.
Yeah, that was a great time. That was a great time. Notre Dame and Merrimack University up in North Andover, Mass.
Yeah, it's great. It's great hockey. It's fun to watch. We're hosting two of the divisional rounds this year in New England. We got one down in Providence. We got some games going up at the Snooze Center in Manchester. So, But both these teams, I mean, they're both sitting at 10, what is it,
10 and 13, I think, right?
10, 15, and 3
10-15,
overall.
that's right. UMass beat BC last night.
BC's number 4 in the Hockey East. They're 9-6-3 in Hockey East, but can they really make that push at the end? They basically have to win the tournament to get in.
Can you believe UMass is what, number 2 in the country?
Number 3 now. They're number 3 in the latest rankings. UMass Lowell's up there in the top 10. They're at 10, actually.
Lowell's in the top 10 as well, huh?
Yeah. Providence at 13 and Northeastern at 14. So you got 4 Hockey East teams right now that are probably going to get into the tournament. So we'll see.
Wow. All right. NBA. So the trade deadline happened. We're in All-Star Weekend. Everybody's excited about All-Star Weekend because it's, the glam and glitz of the NBA. Anthony Davis did not get traded. And the latest story is that Anthony Davis did not say that the Celtics were not on his wish list. Because when it first came out 2 weeks ago, that was not one of the teams that they said he wanted to go to. But
his dad doesn't want him to play here for sure.
That's what he said, correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. However, we all know Anthony Davis wants to do what? He wants to
win a championship.
And if you're going to go to a team that has a chance to win not one, but multiple championships because of the youth, who would that be?
Yeah, the Celtics are a good fit, and I think Kyrie's got a little marketing to do here. If Kyrie can get with AD and figure out a way, give him some kind of confidence and reassurance that they'll play together for many years in the future, I think that there's a shot that they might be able to pull it.
Kyrie's got to commit, though, right?
He's got to commit.
It doesn't happen without him committing, right?
Agreed.
And God forbid, what else could happen out of this thing is the Knicks. They have cap, right?
They have plenty of cap.
Kevin Durant,
suck.
Kyrie, and the number 1 pick from Duke, Zion the Beast Williamson, could end up there, and what would they have instantaneously?
That's a big 3, and that's a Eastern Conference Finals for the next 5 years, easy.
Can you imagine that? The Knicks?
I know.
Multiple Eastern Conferences? All right, we got to move on because I'm getting sick already. Anyways, next. PB, I got to ask you this question. How many years has it been that 5 NFL playoff teams have failed to make the playoffs the following year?
Yeah, so I did a little research on this too. And you'll believe it or not, since 1994-95 season, when only 4 teams were new in the following year playoff. Since then, there was a 17-year run of at least 5 teams that made the playoffs, and that's 5 out of 12, almost half.
Really?
Not making the playoffs in the following year, which means you have 5 new teams, and that was the least. There was years when there was 6, 7, 8 new teams. Until the 2011-2012 season when there was only 4 new teams, and the 2014-15 season there was only 4 new teams. So it has happened twice since. But if you look back in that 25-year history, those are the only 2 times that only 4 new teams have come into play. And most recently, this year we had 7 new teams make the playoffs.
7 new.
And last year we had 8 new teams making the playoffs. Imagine that. 67% of the teams making the playoffs 2 years ago did not make it in the prior year.
So, question for you. Who doesn't make it from this year's teams?
Well, I looked through that, and my teams that I think are going to be out this year, I have 6.
Okay.
I have 6. I'm looking at, you might think I'm a little crazy with some of these, but I'm looking at Philadelphia, Dallas, Chicago, I have Seattle. I have Houston. I guess I have 5.
Okay.
Philly, Dallas, Chicago, Seattle, and Houston are my 5.
They don't make it.
They don't make it.
All right. So who's the 5 newcomers?
Again, we still there's a lot.
And by the way, I disagree on Dallas. Dallas will be back again. Trust me.
Long way to go. A long way to go to see how these teams actually end up with trades and with the draft and everything else, and God forbid, someone of serious nature goes down in the preseason or something like that. But I have the Giants winning the East.
Giants?
I do. I have the Giants win the East. I do. I have the Giants win the East, which means that's why I have Philly and Dallas both out. I have Minnesota coming back and winning that North in the NFC, which is why I have Chicago out. I got Jacksonville back in the playoffs. I also got Cleveland in.
Cleveland, you think they're going to make it after all, huh?
Yeah.
All right, that's a big jump.
And then I have the Falcons getting in with a wild card. So,
all right, okay.
I think there's just too much power offensive power there in Atlanta to not get back into the
Okay.
playoffs next year. So those are my 5 outs and 5 ins.
All right. So, question for you. So, right now, the biggest question mark in the NFL is probably the quarterback position. There's a couple of unknowns and some uncertainties there, right? We talked a little bit earlier. We referenced Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins. Speaking of the draft, where does Kyler Murray go? We'll have a big draft show in 2 weeks, but talk about that real quick.
Yeah, we can. I mean, I think Haskins, he's potentially could go to the Giants. The Giants are picking at number
6, I believe.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're picking at 6. Haskins 6'3", 220. I think he fits the offensive scheme. You put him in there with a guy like Odell, and you got Saquon. I mean that's a big 3 right there.
Okay.
Right, and I think that's why I have the Giants winning. I'm banking on the Giants getting Haskins, starting Haskins. Haskins being, I'm not going to say he's the next Mahomes, but I got Haskins as one of those quarterbacks that's just going to be very dynamic. He'll be able to throw the ball. He'll be able to cause some havoc outside the pocket. I just see him being a nice fit in New York.
So, for you Giants fans out there, I've got 2 words for you. Cardell Jones, another Ohio State quarterback, one and done, did nothing when he left early and went to the NFL. And that's who I think Dwayne Haskins will be. But that's my opinion. So, anyways, let's talk about the quarterback situation because there's a lot of things going on all of a sudden. Flacco just went to the Broncos, right?
Yep.
The latest rumor is Foles
might end up in Jacksonville.
Which you and I have talked about this. That's a good fit for him and that team. Would you agree?
I would agree. I think a lot hinges on Foles. There's a lot of talk right now that he's going to end up in Miami at 13. Miami's a little hot on Kyle. I think he's a good fit in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's picking before Miami. But if they get Foles, then I wouldn't think they would go after a Kyler Murray.
I would agree with you. So they're a team that they don't need to spend time developing a first-year quarterback. They need a guy they can plug in tomorrow. Don't you agree? They played in the AFC Championship just a year ago,
right.
And they scared the crap out of the Pats in that game.
And they took care of the Pats handily this year.
They did, right?
They did.
They had those wide receivers, D.D. Westbrook, and that other kid, I can't remember his name now. They made unbelievable catches on the sideline and all over the field.
Yeah.
And so if they have a guy that can throw the ball to those studs, they're a legitimate threat. Would you agree?
I think so, and I think their defense just needs to find themselves. I think they got a little frustrated this year, and they kind of tanked a little bit. But, I think they are a quarterback away from definitely being back in the playoffs, which is why I have them as one of my new teams going into next year, and potentially get right back to that AFC Championship game with a decent quarterback. I just don't know if Foles is the answer. I'd have to see him playing for a whole year for one team, and I'm not sure he's the answer. Which is why I think if they stay low on that, and they may be able to bring a guy like Kyler Murray in.
I'm going to ask you one question. Trent Dilfer, Nick Foles, who do you take?
Can I say neither?
Oh, okay.
Why would I want